Look, I've got mud! So, this is the new substrate I'm working on. As I said in my other vid, it's a mix of this stuff and clay and some fertilizer, just some root tabs, and I think it's going to be pretty freaking sweet. So, some of you guys were asking, how did I make my background in my 5-gallon? Well, first, I took a bunch of this stuff, which is Cocofiber. This is just a piece ripped off of one mat. They come in, I don't know, mats about 20 times this size for like $5. One thing that I was thinking about the other day is that I don't know if this stuff is rinsed, so I don't know if it has. I don't know if this stuff is rinsed, so I don't know if it has a lot of the sodium in it, like unrinsed or unwashed cocoa coir, which is that other stuff that you saw. It might not, but I've been using it in my tanks, and it seems to be fine. So anyway, you want to take some of this and get a big old hunk of clay, a big old hunk of pottery clay, natural. Be sure it's natural, some sort of natural color. I like this kind of dull brown. Looks pretty good underwater. And anyway, you just work it into the clay like this. Work it into the mat like this. You don't need too much clay. As you can see, it's kind of getting smooth. Underwater, or, well, actually, if you spray this a lot, if you spray it with water, some of the clay is going to wash off and is going to look a lot better. Like, the rationale behind it is kind of like if dirt was, dirt and sticks and fibers and everything get mixed together, so as they get washed away with water, more of the solid stuff appears, which is why this stuff looks so great, is because when you put it in water, some of the clay layers are going to come off, some of the layers of clay showing what's underneath, which ends up looking really natural. The edges of it are kind of weird, and it kind of looks muddy. It kind of looks like, I don't know, sort of like I guess a grass hut or something. But those poking out of the water seem to look pretty good, and what's nice about the clay is that if you have too much of it on, it will melt off in the water. Well, not really melt off, but it'll turn to mud in the water and make a nice slope at the bottom of your background. Like if this is up against the back wall, the clay is going to kind of come off and hang out at the bottom of it, so it'll kind of slope up, which adds to the natural look of the tank, definitely. Rather than have a completely vertical background, it's going to be gradual. My 55 does not have a background like this. You just can't see the background because it's so tan and stained. So anyway, you really don't need that much clay at all. The stuff that is in my 5-gal was sitting in my crested geckos cage for a while. So it was being sprayed with water, and it washed off a lot of the clay. Anyway, once you get to, I guess, about this point, after it's really nice and worked in and there's not too much clay, once you get to this point, just pulling some extra clay off. That's pretty good. You wash it off, and it's going to make your water really murky, so I wouldn't recommend adding this to an already established tank. What I would do is start your tank off with the background in mind, and what you're going to need is silicone to attach it to the back. Basically, you just lay a bead of silicone on it and stick it to the back, and you want to lay your tank, like, here's a tiny tank thing, you want to lay it on its side like this, and then put the background in there after you put the bead of silicone on it. So, because the silicone won't make the whole mat stick to the wall. at first until it cures. And you want to get silicone, GE silicone 100% silicone with no, what's it called? It's called bio something. It's this guard against mildew that is toxic to fish, and it doesn't go away for a long time. So, yeah. That's about it. Now you guys can make some sick backgrounds. Oh, and you can get the fiber mats at Home Depot for like $5. Oh, I've even seen them at the dollar store. They use them in plant potters. You line the pot with this stuff, and it kind of works as drainage. It holds some water, and yeah, and it doesn't harm the plants, which is pretty sweet. And mosses will grow all over this shit too. A lot of people use it for making vivariums, and I would actually recommend this for vivariums rather than aquariums, because this stuff gets really messy in the water. Alright guys, see you later.